on a query show with me after quite a while to please keep your answers as short as possible. Ashish, the same goes for you. I'm going to start with a question to you, Aditya, and this is on Reliance Industries. We've got Ravi Shankar, who has written in early with the intention of getting his question answered. So I'm going to ensure that it does get answered first. Reliance Industries bought at levels of 1,987 in making sizable profit. Should he wait or should he book profits at this juncture?
Congratulations to him on buying at such a great level, and I would definitely want him to wait on the stock. Stock is yet to make an all-time high. Nifty is trading at an all-time high, and we know it's a matter of time before Reliance makes an all-time high. So I have a target of 25.50 on the upside. That is the first target, immediate target on Reliance. So definitely hold on to it. Put a stop loss at 2,200, trailing stop loss, and look for a target of 25, 25.50 on the upside. And once that is taken out, we'll look at a further high targets.
Good morning, Ashish. This query will be for you. This one is coming from Sudeep. He's saying that he's invested in GM Breweries. He's bought some shares at 450 levels, but he was thinking about shifting to either USL or United Breweries Limited. So he wants to know which of these would be better and a potential multi-bagger.
Well, United Spirits we are very bullish on. I think United Spirits would be a good choice to move. The company has a clear, leadership in the spirits market in India. Market itself is growing in a very big way, and I think the company has overcome all the initial hurdles which they had after they took over this company from United Group in India. The company is a clear worldwide leader in spirits business. Diageo has a huge presence in the liquor market worldwide, has a huge array of brands. Here itself in India, they have a lot of established brands, a very good distribution network, and like I said, an ever-growing market here. So I think the things look very good, and United Spirits would be a very safe and a good stock to stay invested in for the long run, and would in the period in the next 5-7 years would definitely multiply your money from here.
Okay, the next question is on Ramco Systems. Let's see where it's currently trading, if we can pull up the chart. And Aditya, this one's for you. We've got a question coming in from Saroj from Noida, and he's asking whether he can enter at the current level of 459 or thereabouts.
So honestly, Alex, the stock is in a downtrend. I would not advise him to enter the stock till the time it crosses at least 500 odd levels. So the moment it crosses 500, then at least the stock will gain some momentum on the upside. With the stop loss at 450 on the downside, then he can look to enter for a target of 600 to about 700 on the upside. At the moment, I would avoid getting into the stock.
Okay, this one is from Anuradha. She wants to know, as a bet on PLI schemes, would like an opinion on Dixon Tech or Amber Enterprises. Which one is better to invest in? What's your take, Ashish? Is it Dixon Tech or Amber Enterprises?
Well, Dixon Technologies, I think certainly is a very good, successful business model. The stock has run up a lot, but it definitely looks good to go, make more money for investors in the long run. Company has very successfully, gone into a business model where they're manufacturing electronics for nearly all the leading manufacturers. And the way manufacturing is now shifting towards India and other countries from China and China. So I think it looks very good. The future looks very promising. So company is very well poised, I think, to make more money for investors going forward. So this is where I would put my bet on.
Ashish, I'm coming to you on this next one. This counter is IIFL Finance. A bit of a tongue twister there. We've got a viewer, RJ, not obviously the commonly known RJ, but another one, who's bought at levels of 265 and asking what to do.
Well, I haven't tracked this stock lately, but generally, I think the stocks in the finance and the share market business are likely to do very well going forward. So I haven't tracked it lately, but I think should be a good bet to hold on.
All right, this one is coming from Soumitra Joshi. He wants a view on Web of Global. He wants to know whether it's worth investing fundamentally, and if so, what sort of levels can he actually look at to enter Web of Global? We've seen a sharp run-up come on about in this counter, Ashish. Fundamentally, does it make sense now also for Soumitra to go ahead and enter into Web of Global?
Well, again, I haven't tracked this counter, so I really don't know after the run. It's still good to invest.
To take this one on Web of Global on the charts, how does it look?
Very strong, honestly. So it went into a consolidation phase after a decent up move. Volumes were thin at that point of time, like a typical consolidation phase. And today's stock has seen a bump up of 10% on very good volumes. So definitely can look to buy the stock at current levels, put a stop loss close to about 700 odd levels and look for a target of at least 1000 on the upside. That is the upside I'm seeing. So after a good consolidation of days, the stock has finally broken out of that consolidation phase on very good volume. So yes, thumbs up. Go ahead, buy with the stop loss at 700.
Okay, Abhinav from Abu Dhabi wants to know which mutual fund he can get into for the long term. Abhinav, that's an excellent question. It's unfortunately not something that we look at on this particular show. At 5 p.m. every day, on every market day, there is a show called The Money Show, which you can tune into, and you'll get your answer in all probability on that show. The next question is from Ravi Kumar from Bengaluru. He's asking about GAIL, and this one's for you, Aditya. 4,000 shares bought at levels of 160, so slightly elevated levels. What should he do? Should he hold on right now? Should he average?
He can hold on to it, Alex. Stock is on the verge of a breakout from a trendline resistance at the moment, and we've seen good volume pickup in the stock of late. So probably put a stop loss close to about 140, 143 odd levels, and look for a target of at least 155 to about 165 on the upside. He can look to average once the stock trades above 150 on a sustained basis. Then he can look to buy more, and your targets could be 160, 65 easily on the upside.
All right, the next query is coming from Arjun from Thrissur. He's saying that he wants some fundamental advice on Jyoti Laboratories with a 4 to 5 year view. What's your take, Ashish? How did this counter look if someone is looking to invest in it or who's already invested in Jyoti Laboratories and has a longer term horizon? How does Jyoti Laboratories look like?
Well, Jyoti Laboratories seems to be a good idea. I think the space also is doing well. So yes, the investor can go ahead and buy this for the long run.
Okay, fair enough. We've got a question coming in on Timken India, not a counter we speak about every day. But we've got Balan who's asking about this counter. Aditya, this is a question for you. He's asking whether it can be bought at the current price for the short term.
Can, Alex. So the good part about the stock is it continuously makes higher high, higher lows, and immediate support on the downside is close to about 1600 odd levels. So probably put a stop loss at 1600 and closer to about 1600. He can look to buy more with a stop loss just below 1600 and look for a target of 1800 on the upside. It's not a trading stock. It's a buy and hold in your portfolio kind of a stock. If you take a look at the way the stock has been moving, continuously makes higher highs, higher lows over a period of time. So I would recommend him to hold to it if he's buying at current levels or slightly close to about 1600. Hold on to it for at least 6 to 7 months. You will see decent gains in the stock.
All right, this one is from Sagar and he wants a fundamental view on Dmart. He's saying he's got the allotment from IPO at 300 rupees. He further added 4,200 shares at the price of about 600 rupees per share. This is on the listing day itself. He's saying valuations are expensive as always, but will the growth continue in the stock or not? And also he wants to know if you see any threat to Dmart as more and more apps are coming into the space like Grofers and Big Basket. Also you have Tata and Reliance also looking to enter with their super app. So what's your take on this, Ashish? How is Dmart looking? Any threat coming you see for this particular counter? What should Sagar do?
Well, firstly, I think congratulations. I think there are very few investors who have got in at the IPO or and then again added more on listing day and have held on to it. I think you're making tremendous amount of profit. Hold on to it because while it looks expensive, it has always been expensive, and the market clearly is in a mood to keep rewarding quality going forward. There is, to answer the threat of online, I don't think that's a competition to this business model here, because they have clearly thrived on the offline shopping experience which their customers have. The company has done very well in the geographical locations where they're located, and the market is very bullish as they expand to other geographies going forward. So clearly, a very successful model. And I think, despite being very expensive, certainly hold on to it. And I think over a period of time, one is expecting this to continue being a great wealth creator for investors. So congratulations, and certainly stay invested. And if for whatever reason, if there's any significant decline, you can even add more on that.
Okay. Sarda Energy is the counter we're speaking about next, and this is a question coming in from Prashant, who's writing in from Abu Dhabi. He's looking for a short-term view. Now, he's been holding for the last 3 years, and he's accumulated over a period of time. Aditya, he's got 1,000 shares at an average price of 275. So that's a significant upside that he's gotten. He's wondering whether he should book part profits or should he wait.
Oh, yes, definitely. Alex is making decent profit on that. I would recommend looking at the chart setup. He should book out at part profit, at least 50% of his holding. He should look to book out profits because there's a distribution pattern that I see after this sharp run up in the stock. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock test levels of 600 on the downside because it's a thinly traded stock. The moment selling starts in these stocks, you could see sharp downside in these stocks. So it's a good idea because he's making decent money, more than decent money in his investment. Book out at least 60% of his holding and look to buy again at lower levels, at least not before 600.
Okay, this one is from Chaitanya. He's saying he's bought Shoppers Stop at the levels of 273 rupees per share, but he's saying though the COVID restrictions have eased, he's not seeing any movement in the stock since the last 2 months. So he wants to know whether he should sell and book losses. What's your take, Aditya? How does Shoppers Stop look on this charts? What should Chaitanya do?
On the charts, honestly, stock has not done much, which is what he's also expressing his concerns on. It's just been a sideways movement on the stock. If he's not making too much of a loss here, probably he can look to exit from the trade and buy something else like a trend which has been really doing well for itself within the same space. Alternatively, if he just wants to, if he's sitting at a huge loss, he can continue to hold on to it, probably put a stop loss close to about 230 on the downside and look for a target of 300. Can some momentum can pick up in the stock given the fact that this price has been buzzing around, but unfortunately, the stock hasn't done much. So probably if he's sitting at a loss, then only hold on to it with a stop loss at 230 and look for a target of 300 on the upside where he can look to exit.
Okay, this next question is from Chai, and I really love your name, Chai. Thanks so much for writing in. Chai points out, Ashish, that from their portfolio, the auto sector is about 20%. And the worry here is that the semiconductor issue is having a bearing on supply, and there are problems there. The other point is that there is pent-up demand, right? So in terms of business, it's not really that there's going to be a material shift over the next 6-7 months or so. Demand will come back. But the question is, should you exit at this point and then enter again later at slightly lower levels, or should you keep holding or accumulating at these prices?
Well, I think it's very difficult to predict these kind of movements. To some extent, market is already factoring in the semiconductor shortage issue, and no, very difficult because these are geopolitical things. Very difficult to predict them. So, as investors, if you're bought into the right kind of stocks, I would just say stay invested because whatever the problem we all believe will get sorted out at some point of time. Because ultimately, like I rightly said, the world cannot function without semiconductors. So, whatever it is, I think we are all hopeful and optimistic that at some point it will get sorted out. And in any case, I don't think if you're holding on to good counters in automobile, you should use a downtrend to exit. I think, in fact, you should use a downtrend to try and add more on fundamentally sound counters. So, in my opinion, stay invested and try and add more.
Okay, this one is coming from Shanmuga Sundaram. He's bought Sun TV, about 150 shares at 530 rupees per share. He wants to know what's the prospect for the next 1 year. Aditya, on the charts, how does Sun TV look like? Does it make sense for Shanmuga to actually stay invested in it?
Not really. To be honest, the stock has been correcting it for some time now. In fact, both Sun TV and Z have been underperforming. On the upside, it faces stiff resistance close to about 540 odd levels. Unless it crosses 540, I don't see any significant upside in the stock. On the downside, immediate support is at 460. So probably if I would want him to exit from the trade and look at some other opportunity in some other space where there is momentum. At the moment here, there isn't any, so makes no sense staying invested here.
Ashish, this is a slightly difficult question because I'm going to have to request you to keep it short. We've got a question coming in from Shubha from Chennai, and she points out that her grandson is turning 18 soon and is asking for 10 stocks that you can recommend that he can start his portfolio with. You don't necessarily need to name all 10, but off the top of your head, if you can name the top quality stocks that you can recommend.
No, I can just try. I can tell you what the top 10 could be: HDFC, your Asian Paints, Pidilite, Tata Consumer, Godrej Consumer, ITC, then Maruti, Godrej Properties, and let me just think. ICICI Bank and Max Healthcare.
I have a feeling, Ashish, that you were glancing at your own portfolio. But thank you so much for attempting that, and that's really helpful, Shubha. I hope that this sets you up, and in fact, let's hope that your grandson benefits significantly from the question that you just had answered. We've got Vijay Lakshmi also, who's asking a question about Allied Digital Services, which was bought long back at 102. He's asking if we should sell or average at this point. Aditya, over to you.
Doesn't look that great, so makes sense. Doesn't make sense to hold on to the position. Probably exit from the trade. That is what I would recommend.
This one is coming from Mayank, and he wants a view on Kalyani Investments. He wants to know whether he can add on for the next 2 years. He's holding about 500 shares, which he's purchased at 2,000 rupees per share. Do you track this one, Ashish? Does it make sense for Mayank to stay invested in Kalyani Investments?
No, unfortunately, I don't track this one, so I won't be able to answer.
Aditya, do you track this by any chance? Can you offer a view on Kalyani Investment?
Unfortunately, no. Even I don't track the stock, and I can't find the chart setup as well at the moment, so I can't comment on the stock.
Okay, let's take another question. This one's from Bharat from Hyderabad. He's asking about Tata Coffee at the current levels. I'm going to come to you on this one, Aditya. We actually interestingly had a conversation with CCL Products on the fundamentals, but on the technicals, does it look good for the next 3 to 6 months, Tata Coffee?
Not at these levels. It was a great buy around 140, 150 odd levels, and from there stock shot to 240, 250. At current levels, I see a little bit of a distribution happening in the space, especially Tata Coffee. I would prefer buying it close to about 200, lower than 200, approximately 180, 170 is the range that I'm looking to buy the stock, not at current levels. At current levels, some downside still is there.
Okay, this one is from Aditya, and he's talking about Devyani International. He has about 25 shares, which he's got at 131 rupees per share. Wants to know, should I invest more, hold for the long term, or is it not going to go on good for the longer term, is what he wants to know. Ashish, Devyani International, I know it's a very new stock to talk about, but do you have any fundamental insights on Devyani International? What can Aditya do?
I don't have too many insights on it, but also I think the stock, like other ones debuting, is on the expensive side. So I don't think it's a very good long-term story. But again, like I said, I haven't really tracked it very closely, so I don't want to I have a definite view on it.
One more question and then we go to rapid fire. This one is a quick one. This one's for you, Aditya. Ravi from Hyderabad is holding sale at levels of 131, wondering whether to switch to IRCTC. Is this a good idea?
Yes, I would definitely recommend to shoot to IRCTC, though it is slightly trading at lower levels, but again, it's a good buy even at current levels.
All right, time for the rapid fire segment. Ashish, as you know, and also for Aditya, we will be asking viewer queries to you, and you need to keep the answer really short: buy, sell, hold, or avoid, and very short rationale if you want to give so. So let me take this query coming in from BR Bhatia on Sequence Science. He's holding shares at 300 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should continue to hold or go ahead and sell. What's your take, Aditya?
Continue to hold with the stop loss at 220 on the downside.
My God. Okay, Suhas has got 40 shares of Reliance Industries, and I know we talked about this, but he's got at levels of 662. He's wondering whether to book profits and buy back in the future, or should he, hold on. Ashish, this one's for you. Does it make sense to book profit, or should he just keep adding to his holding?
Certainly not book profits. Keep adding to your holding on any heavy decline.
This one is from Amrit. He's bought 2,000 shares of Muthoot Capital at 430 rupees per share. Book, loss, or hold, Aditya?
Probably hold on to it at the moment. There can be a breakout on the upside. Look for a target of 500 once the breakout happens with a stop loss at 370 on the downside.
And Mahindra Finance is the counter. Aditya, this one's for you. Ravi is asking whether it can be bought at the current price.
Current price, the stock has run up of late. I see that, but still there is more upside in the stock. Probably 200 should be a target. The stock was at 155 on the downside.
This one is from Surya. He has 300 shares of Burger King, which he's purchased at 140 rupees per share. He's a long-term investor, can hold for 5 years. Should he continue to hold on and add some more? Or what's your take, Ashish?
As long as he has some risk appetite, I think this can be a very good stock to hold on to for 5 years, because clearly it is a leader in its segment. Risk is there because valuation is high. But if he is willing to take that chance, yes, this could be a good wealth creator.
Tata Power to be bought at current levels for the next 1 to 2 years. This is from Dashrath. Aditya, what's your view?
He can look to buy, look for a target of, although it is slightly at elevated levels, Alex, I would recommend him to buy some now and probably average it out again if it corrects to about 120 odd levels, and then look for a target of 160 on the upside.
And with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire. Thank you, Aditya, as well as Ashish, for joining us on the show, talking about HDFC Life as well as resolving viewer queries. And on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. But stay tuned, more on the other side, so don't go anywhere.